Hey guys, Dylan from the Geek Duo here, and today I'll be bringing you my reaction to My Hero Academia Season 7, Episode 9, titled Extras. Shoto Todoroki stopped Darby with his great glacial anger, and reports of that bolstered the spirits of the heroes fighting in other locations. And Shoto and Darby's father, Endeavor, is facing the greatest evil, all for one, with Hawks. So we're cutting back away from UA, away from Camino, to the ruins of Gunga to see how the pro heroes are dealing with All for One. And while I say pro heroes, I know exactly which heroes are there and exactly what happens here. And I'm pretty sure we stay on this for a while. I'm going to say possibly 2 episodes, but with the rate at which we've already gotten through the Derby battle, because I need to remind myself that the chapters in this latter half, the last couple years, have been much shorter than the ones at the start. So while at the start you had a arc that went for 17 chapters, and this one's going to be, what was it, 70 odd? It's much, it's more inflated than what it actually is. So, it makes sense that they're getting through it quicker than I was expecting. Yeah. Anyway, best girl is in the thumbnail for this. So let's get this started in 3, 2, 1, go. Why you'll not play? No, they didn't. They're always there for whoever needs it. But I do love how he's always going on about how his fire is hotter than Endeavor's. So Shoto stopped him with icy fire. And a fire that is much colder than their father's. You know, it would be really interesting if the sections of Class 1A that they show there was put into their like respective groups. I reckon that would have been an interesting touch to the opening. And also, I watched Blind Wave's reaction to episode 7, I think it was. And they made a good. There was a good point out that they're going on about how they sent everyone to the perfect location, yet they sent Ida against Darby. Someone whose engines don't work if they get overheated, against someone who has really hot flames and likes to area of effect them. It was a good point. And yes, I know a lot of the kids volunteered for their specific positions, and Ida wanted to be with his friend. Blue Flame. That's a interesting name. Now that Darby's gone, they can all focus on the Nomu without worry. It's interesting that they keep using Blue Flame when his thing is like canonically called cremation. I guess I've always liked the Blue Flame title more. Hmm. Exactly. They did have. They did keep people at Gigantamakia's facility because they knew that people might be there. That is why it is one of the 8. Even though they didn't send anyone there. I forgot he came back. You just made it personal. The club. It's still interesting that this being one of the stations. Oh hey, Subaraba or however whatever his name is. It's here. There's nothing about this war on the location information for that place. I don't think it was ever shown. Ha! He knew his friend would do it. Oh yeah, I forgot. Kunieda. Aesop's bat, eh? I don't remember over a bat. Aesop Fable. Here we have Central Hospital. Yeah, there's the boy. And this is why Spinner wasn't at Troy. Interesting. Because the manga version of this spinner was more Nomu like in he could barely talk. This one seems to have his mental faculties still. And yes, that is the heteromorph army that Spinner got placed in charge of. The Gunga Villa site. It seems that there was an Aesop table about a bat. Um, the bat and the weasel, I think it was, or monk. Yeah, bat and the weasel. Though how that relates to our Yama, I don't know. Hmm. It is a fair. The smallest, strongest team. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've not understood why he doesn't have the regeneration quirk. Kinoko. I don't know that one. I did forget where most of the other students were put. Like, I knew some pivotal ones like Shoji, Todoroki Ida, Su, um, Suino Araka, Midori, and Bakugo were meant to Kirishima and Mina. But the B students and the others, I forgot exactly where they got put. Hmm. Yep. He still had the fact that he took Toya. Or don't. Hmm. There we have it. He was your chosen apprentice, wasn't it? Yeah. Just making him more and more like All Might with the massive chunk taken out of his torso from a battle with All for One. Hmm. I mean, they are only a couple years younger than you, so if you're there, That is something about an arrow. He does have an indomitable will. Yeah, she has no aerial maneuverability, so... Yeah, you've never faced him, have you? Yep. There goes one of Jiro's ears. I wasn't sure if that was happening this episode or next. As I said, she is best girl in my opinion, so even knowing that that was going to happen is a little yeah, hard to watch. Because here's the thing, she's never really faced any of the villains. Now has she? Like, she was backline support in the last war. She wasn't at the internships. She was passed out at the training camp. She wasn't part of the Bakugo rescue squad. She was she was there and integral during the USJ, but that was just regular criminals and that. That wasn't she didn't face Shigaraki or anything. And for her first exposure to a proper villain to be all for one when she is a rescue hero. Because remember when she was with, I think it was Death Arms and his son, how she was telling him what floor they were on, how many were there, escorting the hostages out. And for her to come up against the biggest villain there is, who sheer presence causes the main characters to freeze. Yeah. And on top of that, to be fighting in the air, where she hasn't had any. They didn't do any training of her flying with Tokoyami or anything. She has no aerial maneuverability because for her to be able to use her shockwaves, they need to first make it to the ground and, like, sure, they could push something back, but I don't think she's actually able of, like, levitating herself with her sound. Like, the best she'd be doing is creating a crater for her to fall further into. But yeah, and then at all before she's even able to do what she was up there for, which is to help Hawks and to send a massive sound wave at All For One to try and crack the visor that way, he goes and hits her and takes away half her quirk. Because sure, her jacks can grow massive lengths from her ears and that, but if you saw on the close-up, her whole lobe was gone, meaning there's nothing for the jack to grow out of. So yeah, we've seen it damaged in the past. I forget what battle that was, but yeah, there's no way for her to get that back now. And she's still up there with the Demon Lord's attention now on her. But yeah, I did forget, as I said multiple times, I forgot where some of the other students were placed. Like, I thought Mineta was put with the Gunga team. Like, I forgot he was with Gigantomachia, because there is a part later on in this where he is directly interacting with someone from the Gunga team. So I thought my memory had he's there, that's why he's able to interact with them. But yeah, I remembered Kirishima and Mina, they're always paired up in these things. Like, they were together in the last war, they're together in this war. But I remembered Shoji being at the hospital, because that's important. I didn't remember where Coda was, but if I had to have guessed, I would have placed him there as well, because of him being a heteromorph. Just the two of them going against the heteromorph army. Ojiro, Sero, and who else was that? Thingo. Just trying to find it. A minute. No. Who? Sato. That's it. Ojiro, Sero, and Sato at the USJ, not USJ, provisional licensing area. That makes sense. Momo, Kaminari are at UA with Bakugo. I'm missing one. Aoyama, Troy, Mina, Jaku, Tsu the Island, Ida, Camino, Ochako the Island, Ojiro Licensing, Kaminari, UA, Kirishima, at Jaku, Koda Central, Sato Licensing, Shoji Central, Jiro, Hagakure. I knew I was missing one, and ironically, it's Invisible Girl. I knew I was missing one. Where was she put? It's gonna be under synopsis. Final War. Okay. That's where she is. That makes sense. But yeah. Kinoko, I didn't remember being, um, I think they should, I've already forgotten where they showed her. Like, Subaraba was with, um, Mina, I think it was. Hananuki was there. Reiko and Yui. Monoma, obviously, at UA. I don't actually think we know where most of Class 1B was. Like Awase, Kaibara, Kamakiri, Kuroiro. I don't think we know where they were. Yeah. Awase's last reference is Endeavour Agency. Kaibara. No, he's in the Final War. Let's try to see where he's actually put. Okay. So we don't actually know where he was stationed during all this. I'm assuming the save's going to be with Kamakiri. Okay, now we know where Kamakiri is. Okay. Cool. I don't know why I'm going through this on video. Kuroiro was in the same place. Let's check. Kendo, Ibara, Shishida, and Shoda. You'd think that Kendo at least would have a... Oh yeah, now I remember where... Yep, I remember where Kendo is. I'm assuming you're in the same plate. Okay, no, you're not even referenced there. Yeah, most of the students that we see from Class B aren't really utilized in this war. Like, there are a couple that have specific roles. As we saw, there were the ones this episode. And there are a handful more that are going to be coming up at a later point. But most of them don't appear. One of them apparently doesn't appear at all. Yeah. I mean, I guess it makes sense. Oh yeah, Manga was with Kaminari. He was making zap noises to power the shield generator. I guess it makes sense that they're not as involved in this because that would have involved teleporting them out of the school. Like, remember how Class 1A left on their own? Class B didn't go with them, so I guess it makes sense them not having as big a role, but also you'd have thought that because they need as many heroes as they can get, that they'd have had some. And like I said, we've got like a third of them that actually do have a role outside of the main group. Because Monoma, Hananuki, Reiko, Subaraba, Kanoko, Yue. Okay, it's a quart. Oh, and Manga. Yeah. So 6 out of 20. About a third. But anyway, yeah, that's. If I'm remembering correctly, we do stay on this battle for a little bit longer. I don't think we jump away to one of the other fronts, though I could be wrong. And there is one specific front that we may jump to, but I think this one needs to be dealt with more before that happens. Yeah. Anyway, oh, but we could also jump there first. No, I think it's this, the one that I've just thought of, and then the front that I was initially talking about. But anyway, yeah. Jiro, best girl. And with that being said, I'll catch you in the next one.